The king was eager to make his son a great king, and no stone was left unturned to shield the child from anything that might result him in taking up a spiritual life. So, the early life of Siddhartha was a very secluded one, surrounded by health and beauty. And Siddhartha grew to be a strong and handsome young man, trained in the arts of war. He got married to a beautiful princess Yasodhara and had a son named Rahul. Grew restless and curious about the world that existed beyond his palace. One day, he requested his father to allow him to meet the people and see his kingdom. With initial hesitation, his father finally yields to his wishes. So, he steps out of his palace with his loyal friend, Chandak. On the way, the prince sees a man bent with age. Prince had never seen an old man before. So he asked Chandak with a curiosity, "Chandak, who is he and why is he bent?" Chandak replies, "He is a citizen of your kingdom, Prince." He explains more. He is now old and infirm. To this, the prince asks, "Will we grow old too, Chandak? Will I become old too?" Chandak replies, "Yes, my dear prince, we all will." This upsets the prince. He sees a very sick man who is crying out in pain. Prince had never seen a very sick man before, so he asks Chandak with a surprise, "Why is that man crying, Chandak?" Chandak replies, "Dear prince, he is sick and is crying in pain." To this, the prince asks Chandak, "Is sickness universal too?" Chandak replies, "Yes, my dear prince, we all become sick." This upsets the prince again. After a while, they see a group of people crying on a dead body. Prince had never seen such a thing in his life. So, in shock, he asks, "Chandak, why are they carrying a man? And why are the people crying?" Chandak replies, "My dear prince, it is a dead body of a man, and they are his people taking him for the funeral." With some hesitation, he adds, "And that is the end of the life's journey. My dear prince, we all have to die one day." This upsets the prince again. confused and tense prince does not want to go further and decides to go back to the palace. On the way back, Chandak keeps explaining the very bitter truth of nature that we all have to die one day. Suddenly, they encounter a man with a shaved head, wearing orange robes and carrying a ball in his hand. The man was very simple and looked very content. Prince asks, "Chandak, who is that man?" Chandak replies, "Prince, he is a wise man who is living the life of an ascetic. He has renounced all the pleasure of the flesh." The peaceful look on the monk's face leaves a profound impression on the prince. That night, the confused prince, deeply touched by all those encounters, can't help thinking for a solution. He realizes that all living beings, without an exception, have to experience the sufferings of birth, sickness, aging, and death. He finds that he can't continue his luxurious life while his people are suffering. On one side, he sees his beautiful wife, adorable son, and his luxurious royal life. And on the other side, he sees the immense suffering that will be inevitable in life. The mental turbulence goes on his mind. Finally, he decides to leave the palace and family life for the search of true knowledge. With a heavy heart, he kisses his sleeping wife and son, and then sets his feet out of the palace slowly, slowly, and slowly. His desire to seek happiness was so strong that made him to take the bold step to leave the royal life and become an ascetic. This step towards the search of truth is still remembered as the Great Departure. He went from one religious center to another, from one hermitage to another, seeking answers to his deep-seated questions. Then he began to practice the self-mortification and austerities. He went deeper for this practice for many years. It was at Bodh Gaya that Siddhartha decided to sit under a tree and meditate as long as it would take him to find the answers to the problems of sufferings. After many days of intense meditation, he attained enlightenment and became the Buddha, an enlightened one. Buddha traveled far and wide to preach his teachings. His knowledge did only not remain within the boundary of Indian subcontinent, but traveled far all around the world. His teachings allow us to understand things as they are. It is more a way of life than a religion. His message for peace is an important today, as the day when he first preached, Buddham Sharanam Gacchami, Dhammam Sharanam Gacchami, Sangham Sharanam Gacchami, which means I go to the Buddha for refuge, I go to the Dhamma for refuge, and I go to the Sangha for refuge.